Hey y'all, it's Carissa and this is my channel K-Threads and Stitches where I talk about cross stitch. If you're returning, welcome back. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm excited to show you all the stuff that I have to share today. I've been gone once again for a few months and I have a lot in front of me to show you. Quite a few FFOs, one finish, and then I have some haul actually today from Nashville Needlework Market and also from a LNS that I learned about. So I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm just going to get started, roll right into the video. And the first thing that I have some finishes from Christmas/winter. So I've already shown a bunch of this stuff per usual on my Instagram and my blog, except for some of the more recent finishes that I have, but these in particular I've already shown. So I'm going to start with this bowl. This is a wintry bowl that is all snowman finishes. I've left this just displayed but not using it right now. I just had it set off to the side. One of my goals that I talked about in my last video is to try to finish through some of my whips this year, and I was actually able to finish the booklet from Brenda Gervais called The Snowball. I don't have the booklet in front of me, but I'll show you the 3 finishes that I did, and I actually finished the whole book, which is great, so I don't have to stitch any more of these. They were super fun to stitch and I just decided to sit down and power through these. But this is the first one that I have, and I'll link whatever details that I have to give below. I used the same fabric for all of these. It's either a 28 or a 32 count. I don't remember the name of the fabric off the top of my head. The bows up at the top, those are velvet bows. I got the ribbon from Hobby Lobby during Christmas time. They have some really nice velvet ribbon colors. I even have velvet ribbon for some of the ones that I have shown in my last video that's a little bit of a, I don't know, like an aqua teal color, something like that. This is another one. So this is what this one looks like. These didn't take too terribly long. I think the fill-in for especially like this one here and the one that I haven't shown yet, that just took a minute, but it wasn't too bad. I also added my own little beads to this. I don't know if you can see it. I might have shown this one last time. I don't think I had this one done. And this is the last one. So same ribbon, and then all of the backs of these have the same fabric, and then of course a little charm to show. Oh yeah, this one was 2024. Sorry, I didn't do this one recently. It was just these two. It was just these two. But I do really like this bowl. This bowl is massive, and the way that it holds all of these, I just really like the way that this looks. So I did get to display them all together for a little while this year, which was great. I do have one Christmas finish. Again, I don't remember the name of this. I usually post a blog post. I'll put a link in the description below. The blog post will have all of the information for pattern names. If I can find everything that I use to stitch it with, the fabric, the floss, all that, I'll link it below. Or I'll talk about it in the blog post that I'll link below. So this, I know that this pattern is by Tra La La, and I was close to finishing it. I finished this well after Christmas, but I used color and cotton for this. I'll just talk about the colors below because I don't have them on me at the moment, and I don't know if I wrote them down anywhere. I'm sure I probably have it in some description from my last videos. But this is what it looks like, and I actually used a really old, this says it's a decorative washboard. This was from Target, in that little, the area that they have in the front, the little dollar spot. So the back of it looks like this. When I put all of the sticky board together, it fit perfectly on this. This isn't really what I was looking for to finish it on. I really wanted to do a, like a cutting board. I really like cutting board finishes, but I didn't have one that would fit this really well, and everything else that I had was either too big or was too small, so I just made what I had work. I really didn't want to have to go out and buy something just to finish this on. But I did a really simple bow up at the top with a little Santa button, some green picks that I cut down from Hobby Lobby, and then I think I got these from Joann's a while ago, these little red looking things. But yeah, I've had them for a really long time. But that is what that looks like. This really didn't take all that long to stitch, but you know, I was just taking my time with it, I think. Alright, so the next one that I have, this is Let It Snow by Brenda Gervais. I'm actually happy with how this turned out. Just as I was talking about a little bit ago, this is a cutting board, so I really do enjoy doing cutting board finishes when I do flat finishes. Not all of them, but this is one of the main ways that I like to finish flat finishes. But this was a new release at the end of the year, last year I think, and I really wasn't expecting to get this done, but I'm glad that I stuck it out and finished it because I really like the way this turned out. So I used, again, velvet ribbon for this. So that's what that green ribbon is. I just tore off a little piece of the linen fabric that I had up at the top, and then some other ribbons and some green picks. Used some fabric from my stash and then stitched this. I used probably most of the called for colors as best as I could. This cutting board, I got it from Hobby Lobby. I don't have a sticker on the back, but wherever they hang up, like, I don't know about y'all, but my Hobby Lobby that I go to close to where I live has a little section, very small, of affordable cutting boards that are probably anywhere from $5 to like $12. And this is one of those that was sitting over there. But I had a lot of fun finishing this. I really enjoyed seeing this come together, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I don't know if you can see that. But I also put beads in there as well. I don't remember if it called for the beads. I want to say that it did, but I don't remember. Okay. Okay. So, sorry, I have a whole bunch of stuff sitting over here. One of the next things that I have, this is Big Hearted Tiny Town by Heart and Hand. So another cutting board finish. I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to be able to get this to work on this because this piece is actually a lot shorter than this cutting board. But I think the bow and the florals on this help to take up some of that space. The only thing that I wish that I had about this was a little bit more of a border on the cutting board on either side of this to kind of match this here. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And I just used things that I had in my stash for the florals, the ribbon, and the fabric. Again, I'll link everything below, but this is what this looks like. I have done the previous Tiny Towns that I've finished on, or I've finished them in a drum, and I decided this time that I did not want to do a drum. Drums are really cute. I like them. I just don't like how mine turn out when I do them. So I still think that they look good, the ones that I did. I just wish that I could figure out how to sew them together without the threads from the linen looking like they're coming apart at the top. I don't know if that's normal or not, but to me, maybe I'm just pulling the thread too tight, and I know that I probably just have to do it to learn it. But I really just wanted to switch it up for this one and do something different. And I also stuck some pins in here. I got these from a shop semi close by here, but I'll talk more about that later. But this is my finish. This cutting board, I've had this in my stash for a really long time. I've got a sticker on the back that says it's from TJ Maxx. And I'm pretty sure I got this when I was still living in Charleston. So I've just had it for a really long time. Alright, so the next thing that I have, so there is another like pattern from Brenda Gervais called Love Notes, and I finished the last two pieces from that little series, booklet, whatever you want to call it. And these are my finishes. I did switch the colors on these a little bit. I'm pretty sure that this is stitched on Vintage Country Mocha, and I'll list all the details down below, but these are the two pillows that I have for this. And of course, I did Lady Dot Creates lace on here, and I'll let y'all know in the blog post what color it is. But I am really happy with how these turned out. I think they are so cute, and I actually have all of these done. And in the spirit of refinishing things, because that seems to be what I'm doing a lot of lately, when I go through and I've previously finished something that is almost like a series like this, I refinished all of these. I had 3 that were already done. They were fairly small, and they didn't, to me, I didn't really like the way that they looked. So I went ahead and refinished them. So this is one of them. And then I did Lady Dot Creates lace around the top of it. This is another one. And this is the last one. This is the Be Mine. And I used the same fabric for the back of all these. I had a different fabric on these originally, but when I cut them up, I really just felt like I wanted to switch them. So all of them have the red fabric on the back, and I really like how the red and brown lace it's not all uniform and exactly the same, but they're close enough. So I think that it blends well together. So I actually got quite a few like Valentine's finishes done. Alright, so my next one, these are from Primrose Cottage. This is from the Hey Sweetheart pattern. I have mine as a PDF, so I don't have like a pattern cover to show. But these are my finishes. So, I'm showing that one sideways. Sorry about that. So this one goes this way. Pretty standard, simple finish for me. This is the back fabric, used stuff that was in my stash. And I picked my own colors for this. I used Color and Cotton. I will put those below if I can find them. And this is the second one that I did. And the purpose of this one was for it to sit on its side like this instead of like this. As you can see, the bow's upside down if I put it this way, but really you could do it either way. I really enjoyed putting little scraps of linen where I just kind of pull a few threads on either side and tie it around the bow. I feel like it kind of just adds a little something to it that's not too much, but gives it a little bit of a different feel to it. Rick Racks are from Lady Dot Creates. I'll link those below or in the blog post when I post the vlog. Okay. This is another finish that I have. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen this. This is Lindsays flower basket. It is in their, I brought this over here so I could show it. It is in their, what is this called? Cross stitch journal. I don't know why that was so difficult. So they have the pattern on the inside of this, and I picked my own colors. Again, I used color and cotton for mine, and then just same really kind of finish that I tend to do with the fabrics on the front, the bows on the front. I really liked leaving these really long tails, especially when it's fresh. Like when I first done it, these tails are actually pretty curly, so it looks really pretty. These have been this one's been sitting for a while, so they've kind of flattened out a bit, but. And then this is the back of my pillow. But I was really happy with how this turned out. I think it's really cute. All right. So I'm actually like speeding through these. I've just about gotten through everything that I have here. The next one that I have, this is Everyday Things by Heart and Hand. And this is what it looks like. Now, I almost wish that I would have picked a different fabric for this, but I think that my intent was to pick something that was a little bit different. Overall, I still think it's really beautiful. I enjoyed stitching it. It really didn't take that long once I sat down and, you know, started stitching through it, but it took me a while. I started this one either last year or the year before. But this is my finish. And I will link the details down below if I wrote them down somewhere. I hope I did, because I've already put all the floss away. I might be able to figure out the fabric, but I'm not sure. So I tried to do a little bit of a different color rickrack around the top. It's by Lady Dot Creates, and then I did a pink and white fabric on the back. I really like this house. I think this house is really cute. I did not use all of the called for, I don't think. I probably tried to use some of the called for as best as I could, but I don't think I used everything that was called for. Okay, so I'm down to my last few things, and I actually should have this booklet over here. So I talked about in my last video, my last Flosstube video, that I always, or maybe it was the whip parade, I talked about that I always get to this booklet, or I always look at it and I don't stitch it, but I want to get one done. This is Jelly Bean Jubilee by Brenda Gervais. And the one that I have had finished for a couple of years, I think. This is 2023 is when I finished this one. And this is what it looks like. This is the first one, and it's got the same pink and white fabric on the back. Real simple finish. I think this is really cute. Picking this back up, I changed the fabric. So my next two are on a different fabric, same color, but different count, and a different type of fabric. So this fabric is a Lugana, it looks like, and I stitched mine on linen. And this linen is 32 count brown paper. And I apologize, I think in my whip parade, I thought that that was mushroom on this one, and it's actually not mushroom, it's brown paper. So the ones that I was able to finish, if I could speak, was this long one that says Easter, and then I also finished just the real simple one that says, it has the words on it, hop hop hippity hop hop is the one that I did. So I have 3 done. I think I probably have like 4 more to go, but I will not be stitching anymore on these this year. I've done what I'm going to do for these. So this is the Easter one. I really like how it turned out. I had a lot of fun with this because if you've watched, you know, any of my more recent videos, you've seen that I learned about 36 count and stitching 1/2 and how much of a joy that is. So that's what I did on this. I stitched 1/2 and I just really like how it turned out. Kept the finish super simple, nothing too crazy. I put the rickrack around this one. I probably will do that with this one at some point. It really doesn't take that long. I just have to sit down for a few minutes. And when I attach my rickrack, I use a real cheap fabric glue from Hobby Lobby. And I'll just use like a little paintbrush of some sort, especially if I have big globs of it. And I'll just brush it around the side. I'll run it like the bottle around the side to squeeze it, and if I just have big clumps, I'll try to spread it out a little bit to make it a little bit thinner, but I don't sew these on, I glue them. So this is my next one. This is the Hop Hop Hippity Hop Hop. I did not stitch this exactly like she had it in the booklet, so I picked my own colors for this. So I decided to do kind of like a violety purple color, a darker pink, and a lighter pink. And it was just pink and white on the booklet. I don't know if you can see that real good. So I just decided to try something a little bit different for mine. And then I did the rickrack. I did a pink and white fabric on the back, just like the first one that I did. And for the floss, I'm actually using, what is this called? Victorian Motto. Except for the Easter, I'll find it. I'll put it down below in the blog post. But for this Easter one, the word Easter, I actually used a color and cotton for that. I could not find a Victorian Motto that I had that really was the color that I wanted to do for that. So that is the finish for that one. And I have one more set to show you. And I still have it in the bowl here. So this is a trio. They're all separate patterns sold separately, but this is Cherry Hill Stitchery. I don't know all the names of the patterns off the top of my head, but check out the blog post. It'll be linked below. And I had this one finished already, so I finished this one last year. And these two smaller ones I finished this year. These did not take very long. They're super quick. They stitch up super fast. I used a 28 count white Lugana on these. Picked my own colors. I'll put those below. But I just think that these are so cute. And I didn't want to stitch them all the exact same way as or finish it, not stitch it, but finish it the exact same way. I don't know if that was my original intent. But I decided that I just kind of wanted them to sit kind of how they do, the two outer ones to be a little bit smaller. This is this one, Lady Dot Creates Rick Rack, and then I just used a green fabric on the back. And this is this one. Same rickrack and same fabric. I started off pretty strong after my last video. I was kind of kicking out quite a few whips that I had. And I've kind of slowed down a little bit. I've also added a couple of new whips that I'm going to show you here in just a minute. But I think I've kicked through quite a few, enough that makes me feel okay with starting a few new things. And I have one finish for y'all. So this is from Stitching with the Housewives. I have one of these done, or no, this might be the first one. I think this is the first one. I think I'm thinking about the B one because I have one done for the B one. This is one of their town series, and this is the Valentine's one. But I did the first one. I wanted to get through at least a couple of these this year, but I did not make it that far. But I am happy with my one finish. I say one is better than none. So, okay. So that's all of my FFOs. That's all of my finishes. And I'm going to roll into my whips now. Okay, so for my first whip, this is going to be a Cherry Hill Stitchery. I have a teeny tiny little start on this. I will put the information about the pattern below, but this is part of the watermelon patterns that she has. I think this is going to be the one that says seeds 25 cents or something like that. So this really shouldn't take all that long. I don't remember what this fabric is, and I don't have a tag to tell me what it is. So unless I might be able to dig for it, but I don't know if I'll be able to find it. The colors that I'm using is going to be Snowball by Classic Colorworks, Steamed Broccoli, Prickly Pear, and Ladybug. And then I also have Raven from the Gentle Art for any black that I need. Very simple. I really hope to, just like the Easter ones from Cherry Hill Stitchery, I hope to get these done this year. And that'll be another whip down, and I'll be done with that series. All right. The next one that I have, so this is from Primrose Cottage. I think they came out with this one last year or maybe the year before, I don't remember. Excuse me. This is A Mother Is, I think is the name of the pattern. And this is my start on it. So this is a Mother's Day gift for my mom. And I'm stitching this on 36 count brown gray by XJU Design. I'm picking my own colors for mine. They're all color and cotton. And I tried to stay true to the original colors, but just picking my own. Because I just like to do that. And the colors that I'm using is Sargasso Sea, Barrel Cactus, Begonia, Tusk, Hickory Stick, and Merliton. I don't know how to say that, but these are the colors that I'm using for mine. I've really enjoyed stitching this. This is stitched up really, really quickly. I'm actually going to be able to give this to her. So I'm trying to get this done hopefully this weekend. If I don't get it done this weekend, it'll have to be done next weekend. But I'll finish it in a pillow. I probably won't have it for my next video just to show y'all, but I'll try to take a picture if I can remember to take a photo before I give it to her. Really cute though. This stitches up fast. So that is that one. I don't have a whole lot of whips. I actually only have, what's that, 2, 3? I only have 5. So as you can see, that last one was a new one. I feel like I had a good excuse for that one because it's a gift and it's not for me. And this next one actually was intended to be a gift, and I thought that, I think if I actually sat down and put some real time into this, I would have been able to finish this, but, you know, I have a hard time stitching on one thing at a time. So this next one, let me move this thread out of the way. I talked about my visit to a cross stitch shop. I got this fabric from the cross stitch shop that I went to a couple months ago, and I also got this pattern from there and picked up some of the colors, I think. I don't remember, maybe it was a different one that I picked up colors for. But what this is this is The Day by Plum Street Samplers. This pattern is massive. It is really big. And it was really ambitious of me to think that I could get this done in a few months. But I really like this pattern. It's really cute. And I'm hoping to stitch it twice one day, but I'll have to see how I feel after stitching it the first time. I'm stitching mine on 36 count vintage Chantilly cream. I don't know who the fabric designer is though, or the fabric dyer. And I'm not using all of the called for colors. I think I actually went through a lot of the DMCs I subbed out, and I'm still missing a DMC because even when I was looking for a substitution for the DMC that I'm missing, I could not find one that I liked. It's a very specific, like, orangey pink, and I somehow, out of all the floss that I have, could not find a color that matched it well enough. So my intent is to get that DMC once I remember to grab it when I'm out one day. These are all of my floss colors. I will put them in the blog post. There's too many to name, and there's a lot of substitutions. And this is what I have so far on my start. So I have the full top line up here, and I'm trying to outline the house a bit. So as you can see, I outlined the roof. I'm trying to outline the bricks and put the windows in, and then once I get all that in, then I can just start doing some filling in the bricks and the roof and all that. I really feel like, just looking at this, I really feel like once you get past, or once I get to the point where I'm past this top section, this is gonna fly by because all of this is words down here at the bottom. And actually, when I first started stitching this, I did this whole top border and had to rip the entire thing out because I did them, the squares, I didn't do enough stitches in the squares in each of them. And I was sitting there looking at it, I was like, that looks really small, and this looks like a really big pattern. And when I took a second look at the pattern, I figured out why it looks so small. So, but I'm happy with how this is turning out. This fabric really does have like a pinky tint to it, so I think it's really gonna help, you know, bring out the pinks in this. But that is that one. So that was another new one that I started. This one was actually intended to be a gift, but I'm not going to be able to finish it in time, so it'll just be there. I'll stitch on it when I stitch on it to finish it whenever. So this next one that I have it in my Pam's Needle and Thread project bag. And this is the pattern I Am Loved by Emily Call. I'm stitching mine on 36 count Misty Smoke. And this is my start so far. I went to the cross stitch shop that I've talked about a couple times already, and I picked up some Cottage Garden threads. I've never used these before, but I think that the colors are really beautiful. The way that their threads or their floss is variegated is really nice. So these are the two colors that I have. So it's Vintage Rose and Apricot. And as you can see, they're really light up top, which is really more towards the middle of the floss, and then they get darker as they go down. My only thing is that I wish that these thread pieces were longer. I'm somebody that actually just likes to have longer floss pieces when I'm stitching, so I'm not starting a new piece of floss every few minutes. But other than that, these are really nice to stitch with. They're really beautiful, and I am probably getting close to halfway done with this. And she actually just came out with a new one that I'm excited to get at some point and stitch. But I've stitched 2 of these in her I Am series, and this is the 3rd one. This is another new start that I started, and this is a fabric that I got, I think, probably recently from the Kitten Stitcher. So I have one more. I do not know the name of this pattern, but it will be linked in the blog post. And this fabric that I'm stitching it on is another fabric that I had gotten from the cross stitch shop a few months ago. And I'm using all color and cotton threads for this. This is the project bag that I have it in. This is a Pam's Needle and Thread project bag. I always link her, or I try to remember to always link her in my descriptions and in my, not the descriptions, the blog posts, in case anybody's interested in looking at her shop. Some of the bags that I show, she doesn't always have those, but she uses quality quilt fabrics, and she does great quilting on all her bags. I don't know if you can see this, but the quilting lines and all that. I've had this bag for a while. I've had, matter of fact, about 95% of the bags that I have are Pam's Needle and Thread. And I've been buying her bags for several years now, and they've held up as if I just got them yesterday, really. These are really great bags, great quality, and I just love them. Okay, so for this pattern, I'm stitching this on 40 count vintage Flagstone. Again, I don't know who the fabric dyer is. It's not on the tag, but and this is one of my, I think actually this is probably my first 40 count. So starting on 36 count recently, I was like, I wonder if I can do 40 count and actually enjoy it. So I will say 40 count is quite a bit more of a challenge than 36 count for me. Overall, I've enjoyed stitching on 40 count with this. It's just a little harder to see. I have to make sure that I have really good light so that I don't mess this up really. But this is what it looks like. The designer is My Big Toe Designs, I think. And this is the start I have on it. They are a Christian-based cross-stitch design. They're on Etsy, and this is actually pretty long. It is, I could probably find that. I'm using color and cotton threads for this. I'm using the colors Full Moon, Liberty, Gargoyle, and Tusk. Some pretty standard colors. So the pattern is called Be Anxious for Nothing, and it's by a Christian cross-stitch design company. They are called My Big Toe Designs. They're on Etsy. Of course, I will link it in the blog post. And some of the colors were actually supposed to be more purples and greens, but I decided, excuse me, I keep having to clear my throat, I'm sorry. I decided to switch the purple out for white. I actually do like purple, but it wasn't really what I was looking for this design. This is a Bible verse. It is Philippians 4:6-7. And it says, "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." Philippians 4, 6 through 7. So that's the whole thing. I've kind of got the pattern up here. I'll try to show you all this without showing the, I don't know if it's gonna, I think that's kind of hard to see, but that's what it looks like. I really love this. I'm gonna try to not get emotional. So I am a newer Christian, and so last year when I went home during the summer, I had already been on the path of this, you know, turning to the Lord and changing my life, and I'd really been moved by the Lord. And when I went home, I had already been thinking about it really hard. And I got baptized when I went home. I was talking to my mom one Sunday after church, and we went over to my gramps' house. My gramps is a preacher. He's been a preacher for pretty much my entire life. And then we went to my aunt and uncle's house. They have a pool in the back. We tried to go to the church building, or actually so we couldn't use the I forget what it's called, the baptistry in the church building. It's actually the church that I grew up in. Because something about the temperature in it was messed up or something. So we drove out to my aunt and uncle's house on a whim, and I actually got baptized in their pool. It was all my family that was there, at least the people that were there, they were all family. So my cousin was there, my aunt and uncle, my nanny and gramps, and my mom. So in that, I've really started to have a lot of changes in my life, and doing things like stitching, things that really center around the Lord is something that is newer for me, but I really enjoy it, and I want to have those reminders around me, you know, just in general. I've bought quite a few patterns from that cross stitch shop. Not all, I haven't started any of the other ones. This is the only one that I've done so far. And then, yeah, I've just really enjoyed stitching some more Christian related pieces. So that is all of my those are all of my whips. That really, I'm so sorry. Okay, so what I'm going to get into next is, I don't have any new plans. The plans that I had from last time, I still have 4 whips that I have not worked on, but I will list them. And I guess I could briefly talk about them here because I don't want to go over the same thing with no stitching too much. I have 3 patterns in this first bag. This is Blooming Tiny Town. And then I have Little House Needleworks Bumblebee Petites. And this is Little House Needleworks Americana Petites. I've already got the floss colors and all that picked out. I think there's only 1 fabric in here, but I'll list everything down below. The next one that I have is Seaside Tiny Town. I have a little bit of a start on this. This is actually being stitched on 32 count Duxbury by Fox and Rabbit, and this is just the start that I have on this. I don't think I'm using all the called for colors. I think I probably tried to get as close as I could with them, but I don't think I had all of them. I'll leave this one in the bag. This is a Cherry Hill Stitchery pattern. It's one of the strawberry ones, and it's got 2 houses. Stitching that on Vintage Country Mocha. And I think the colors are close to the called for colors. And then I have one more that is stitching with the Housewives. I don't have anything started, but it's in this bag here. Stitching it on a color called Green Peas by XJU Design. And I think I'm using most of the called for colors on that. I actually switched out the blue. But yeah, that is all of my plans for the future. That they were part of my list for my last Flosstube video. I just haven't gotten to those yet because I've started a few new things. But I think that that'll be a good progression into the summer. Okay, so the next thing that I have is, I guess I'll show y'all my Nashville Needlework Market haul, and then I'll also show you the haul that I got from the cross-stitch shop, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And I have some fabrics here and some cutting boards from Hobby Lobby that I'll show. I'll start with these fabrics. I got all these fabrics from Kit & Stitcher, so after my last Flosstube, I went back to Kit & Stitcher and I bought some more 36 count fabrics because I enjoyed stitching on the one piece that I got to try. And I wanted to have some more 36 count in my stash. So the first one that I got, this is 32 count light driftwood. A lot of these colors I already have in like 32 count and 28 count. But colors tend to look different on different counts of fabric and different types of fabric, so I decided to get a couple that I already have. This next one is 36 old brown, I think that it says light, and this is what the fabric looks like. So this one is kind of like a bluish gray with a little bit of brown mixed in. The modeling on this is really nice. The next one I got, this is 36 count My Little Dove, so I definitely have this in 32 count. This one in particular is a gray, but it's almost like a bluish gray. So it is really nice. And this last one that I have, this one is 36 count Bird Cage. I don't think I expected this one to be as dark as it is. I don't know why, but this is what this fabric looks like. It's really pretty, but I'll have to be really choosy about what I put on this fabric, I think, whenever I decide to stitch something on it. So those are the fabrics that I got from Kit & Stitcher. And then, so I was watching a Flosstube. I think her channel is Red Velvet Quilts. And so currently I'm in Texas, and where I live, there's not a whole lot of shopping. Like, I have to drive at least an hour to my nearest Hobby Lobby, and then I have to drive 2.5 hours just to get to, like, the next big town. So I did not know that there was a cross-stitch shop that was somewhat of a driving distance for me. It was a drive. It was a few hours, but I made a day trip out of it one day because I had watched her video. She had talked about it. She actually talks about their shop, I think, every now and then in her videos. It's a shop called The Tinsmith's Wife. And if you ever have a chance to visit their shop, I highly recommend visiting their shop in person because the owners, they are really nice. They're just really nice people, and their shop has so much stuff in it. I would need at least 6 hours to spend in there to even probably brush the surface of what they have in there. They had tables and tables of patterns. They had binders of patterns that you could just flip through. I mean, fabric. They had a ton of fabric. You're talking Aida, linen, even weave, different fabric dyers, different counts, and the owners are super helpful. So if you're ever looking for something, you can ask them for help to find it, and they are more than willing. They also just tell you about the different things that they have in their store as you're walking around shopping, you know, just to help you find things. And one of the first tables that I stopped at it had a lot of like Brenda Gervais patterns, and I was flipping through those. I found so many patterns that I had never seen before. And they had a ton of floss. They even had like knitting stuff in there. They had some Lady Dot Create stuff in there. They had, I don't know, they had a ton of stuff, y'all. And I just really enjoyed the day trip out there. The town that it's in is a charming little town. It's so cute. And I just highly recommend. So I did get a few fabrics from there. I've kind of pointed out the ones I've already used several, like for projects, but I do have one left that I haven't shown yet. This is 36 count Patriots Brew by R&R. So that's what this one is. This is the last one. I have not used this for anything. I actually got this because I know that several of Brenda Gervais patterns call for this fabric. And I thought I would just get one of these. So I got that. And then I picked up several patterns. And I also picked up a few flosses. Some of the flosses that I picked up were Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, but I got them for other projects, so I don't have them sitting here. But I do have a few more Cottage Garden Thread colors here. Two blues. One is called Dark U and Blue Cypress. So these are the two blues that I got. And then I also have a brownish color here. It's called Compost. So I had gotten 5 of these all together, the 2 that I had shown you earlier, and then these 3. And I picked up several patterns. I got Little House Needleworks Kindness. And then I got Little House Needleworks Wisdom. And Little House Needleworks Faith. I think that they had most of these in the Little Sheep Virtue patterns, but these are just the 3 that I decided to pick up for that day. And then I also got Erica Michaels. This is Spring Berries. I did my first berry finish last year. It was a gift for my mom for Mother's Day, and I really enjoyed that. And for this one in particular, I really like this one, the Spring Berry over here. The next thing I got, this is Heart and Hand 2025 Collector's Heart. This is what the pattern looks like. This is actually a kit. It came with the fabric and the all of the beads there. So I don't know what this fabric is. I have to pull this thing out. But I think this is really cute. I don't think I've purchased any of the other collector's hearts. I think that's my first one. But I really like that one. Oh, I have another Little Sheep Virtues. This is the Little House Needleworks Hope. And I have 2 Brenda Gervais patterns here. One of these I've seen before, and I think this one I've seen before, but I didn't have it. This is Farmyard Parade. Such a cute little patriotic, but also kind of, you know, just farmhouse patterns. These are cute. And this one is called Our Story. I had never seen this one before, I don't think. If I have, I don't remember seeing it. But this is super cute. And I have 2 Plum Street sampler patterns. This one is really big. I don't know if I'll ever be able to stitch this, but I got it just in case. It's very cute. This is called American Welcome. And this is what it looks like. And I also got the Plum Street Samplers Proverbs 31 sampler. And that's what that one looks like. It's so cute. And the last one that I got from there, this is Hello from Liz Matthews, October Quakers. I think both of these are really cute, but I really got this for this little one down here. And that is everything that I got from their shop. But like I said, they had so much stuff in there. They even had needle minders. Oh, I think I actually bought a needle minder. I don't have it over here with me. I got the Primrose Cottage. It's the pink house with the red roof on it. While I was there, I got some pins, which were in the finishes that I showed earlier. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And like I said, the owners were really nice and they were great. So check them out if you're ever able to visit the Tinsmith's wife. Okay, so for Nashville Needlework Market, I do have some patterns here. The fabric that I have is not something that I bought from any of the shops. I actually bought this directly from the dyer. I think because I couldn't find the count that I was looking for in this from anywhere. It's probably sold out everywhere. But this is the Fabrics by Stephanie Pomegranate and 36 count linen. For the Ladybug pattern by Hands On Design. I'm not much of a, I probably wouldn't pick this for myself. So this is a little bit of a step outside of the box for me. But I think this pattern, the pattern is also beautiful, but the fabric is really beautiful, and the way that the original colors pop off that fabric is fantastic. So that is one of the first things that I have. One of the next things I have, I got a package of the new Week Style Works colors. I don't think I can see all these, but one of them is called Acai Berry, Chantilly, Olive Branch. Sorry for all that. And I think there's a couple more in here, but I can't see the names of them. And I also got the new Classic Colorworks. They're called Apple Cider, Green Tea, and Sparkling Rosé. And these are the colors. Very pretty. And I think that there was like a free pattern that came with this. And at first when I got the package in the mail, I thought that it was just a gift from the shop. Because I ordered most, if not all, of these patterns and the flosses from Needle Case Goodies on Etsy. And these all shipped super fast too. Like I ordered all of the patterns and stuff, and they shipped like the next day, which was awesome. I wasn't expecting to get it that fast. But there's I think it's a Little House Needleworks pattern that uses these new colors. I don't have it over here with me. But those are the flosses that I got. The next, so I've got a stack of patterns here. I got from Jeanette Douglas Designs. This is Chubby Ewe. I thought this was really cute. I wish I was good at French knots like Mouse Potato Designs. She is on Flosstube. And I also follow her on Instagram, and she does a lot of sheep stitching, and she uses French knots, but I'm not good at French knots. But all her little sheeps look so cute. They look fluffy because she uses French knots. The next pattern I have, this is Blooming Frill from Heart and Hand. This is what this looks like. This goes to the Blooming Tiny Town. And then I also got the Big Hearted Frill. This one goes to the Big Hearted Tiny Town. I've already stitched the Big Hearted Tiny Town, and this would be just an additional. And I would, well, obviously I already have it stitched, the Tiny Town, but these I'll probably just stitch them all separate. And then I also got the Nativity Tiny Town by Heart and Hand, and I got the Nativity Frill that goes with it. The next one I got, this is Heartfelt Home by Textilly. It's just a real cute, simple design. And then I did get quite a few Brenda Gervais. I got the Summer Trio. I got the Spring Trio. I got the Earth Laughs. And then I also got Liberty. And then I got, this is Home is Where We Start by Shepherd's Bush. I want to say this is my first Shepherd's Bush pattern, but it might not be. I just think it's real cute. And then I also got Tomato Hill from Plum Street Samplers. I think this was a market release. It says 2024, but that is that one. And I also got Friendship Garden by Plum Street Samplers. I think this is so cute. Gathered Hearts by Plum Street Samplers. And Wear It Well by Hands On Design. And this is one of my favorites. This is the Ladybug Picnic. If y'all don't know, I do have a dog. She is a Maltese Shih Tzu mix, and she is 13 years old now. She's actually with my mom. She's been with my mom since last year, and her name is Lady, but we call her Ladybug. So things with a ladybug I like to stitch, even though it's not a dog, but it matches her name. And then I also got the Emily Call Choose Happy pattern. And out of all of the market releases that I got, I would say this one is my favorite out of all of them. This is by the Proper Stitcher. This is called Then Sings My Soul. This is so pretty. I think the colors on the original are just really soft, and everything just flows really well on it, and it's really beautiful. So those were all of my Nashville Needlework Market purchases. there were so many beautiful patterns. I don't have enough money to even buy them all and still be able to have what I need. But I really enjoyed searching for new things and just seeing all the new stuff that everybody came out with. The last thing that I have for y'all today, these are the cutting boards that I got from Hobby Lobby. I won't take very long on these. They're just your standard cutting boards. So I got a black one. I actually have two black ones and I have two brown ones. This one's a little bit longer than that last one, so these are what they look like. And I didn't realize it, but I actually bought two of these on accident. I think I thought that I had a different, kind of like how these are. They're not exactly the same. And I accidentally ended up buying two of these at separate times. These were $8 a piece. I think that these were $8 a piece. Yeah. So, not real expensive, but I like to have these for my flat finishes. I don't do a lot of flat finishes anymore, but when I do, I typically look for a cutting board first. If it's something that's a little bit bigger than just a small square finish. But I did want to take some time to thank everybody for watching and commenting on my last two videos that I posted. But thank you so much for commenting, for liking, for watching the video. If there's any questions that you have, please let me know. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the comments and everything, and thanks for sticking with me through this video, and I will see y'all later. Bye.